Excuse me. Just fiddling around, hoping that everybody can see what they need to see here. And there's going to be a lot of that, I assume, as well. This is so very surreal and odd. So hello, everybody. I can't believe I am doing this. I've been thinking very long about doing a video blog. Not that the internet needs another one, but I've been more than anything, because I am such a nerd and into many, many different things. I thought, hey, why don't I talk about it myself? And I also opted to do a video because I feel like people typically tend to gravitate towards we're more visual creatures more than ever now with all this technology that we have around us. So I thought, why not? But I realized, and I avoided this for a long time, that it is incredibly horrifying and it's just terrifying to put yourself out on the internet, for real. Even though we do it every day of our lives with the social media, really putting yourself out there for someone to just watch you talk for God knows how long is really, really kind of scary. One of my friends is now doing a podcast, and I thought, oh, I could do that, but I was like, well, why don't I have me talking? I can't do anything fancy as of late. I'll say that right now in the open. Maybe I will evolve over time, but for right now, this more or less came out of the idea that I am sitting here talking out loud, talking to myself or thinking out loud, however you prefer to think of it. And I am talking about, and I know this is going to take me so much time to get used to, of me taking my time, slowing down, enunciating, knowing, and just how am I going about this? Well, there's a couple of things you should just know about me. My name is Sam. I am a huge nerd of a lot of things. I don't have any kind of ideas for this in particular. I don't have an end game. I just have I've been thinking a lot about all these things out loud lately, and I thought it'd be interesting to just kind of record it all, maybe for myself, maybe to actually put it out there. I already insinuated that I would, but who knows? Maybe I'll just wind up looking at these myself. But here I was, sitting here day after day, just kind of conjecturing to myself and talking to other people, but I was like, oh, I feel like putting my thoughts out there along with everybody else in the rest of the world. But right now, because we are in the age that we are in, this is right now, I can happily say, the culture of Star Wars. I am so excited. There are so many things, and you're going to hear me talk a lot about, first of all, one thing, again, I'm going to go back and forth and sideways and which ways. I do not stay on topic. I jump from tangent to tangent. My mind just gets on one track and it goes the other way, and it's kind of hard to keep up, but that's kind of why I wanted to do this. I just wanted to get it all out there in the open. It's that kind of thing, that feeling of like once it's out there, it's a real thing and you can sit there and listen or read it or see it and discuss it. It is no longer just this pile of all these things swirling around in your head that you don't really know how to process. And I really do, at the end of the day, consider myself a writer, but I just thought this might be more fun, even though there's this huge sense of vulnerability doing it because it's private. You're seeing me, even though I think we tend to, again, gravitate towards that human element. But more than that, you're seeing inside of, my own private quarters, as it were. My house. Duh. Alright, let me not be fancy about it. So, obviously, this is my home from where I am. I'm not sure that I want to give more detail than that, although you could probably surmise that this is my room. Again, feels very private, like I'm the one who is in fact opening the door, I should say, but it just, I suppose I could have sat in my living room, but, I didn't. I think also it's like, you can see what's hanging up behind me. I don't know if you guys can see it, just throwing out there. Big fan of those are probably my two great loves. So if you can't see behind me, there is a Harry Potter poster and a Star Wars poster. My two great loves of this earth. And right now, as I was starting to say before, we are in a great culture of Star Wars, and there is so much Star Wars talk going on. And this is so exciting for me because this is something that's like ingrained in my soul. I have loved Star Wars since I was a since I was a kid. I've been asking my mom repeatedly to let me know exactly the point at which I first saw it for the first time, or saw it for the first time. She is pretty sure I was about 4. I probably actually started remembering it when I was probably 7 or 8. And I don't know whose decision it was to show it to me, whether it was my mom's or my dad's, but either way, it was shown to me at a very young age, and I just gravitated towards it immediately. I loved so many of the themes as a kid, growing up with it, watching it constantly over and over again. And now here I am, an adult, and we're in this culture of where there will be looking like a new Star Wars film every Christmas. That's amazing. I really grew up and got into the culture of fandom and the understanding of how it works and how very dense it is, and the structure of it with Harry Potter when I was a teenager going up through my college years. But now that Star Wars, now I get to do that with Star Wars, which, it was always my childhood love, and I always loved it when I came back to it, but it wasn't something that I, discussed in depth or had these very long conversations with my friends or, read all these theories on the internet. And now because of these new films that are coming out, now we can do that, and it's super exciting. And I've been, again, the reason why I wanted to do this is I've been coming home and kind of conjecturing and reading things and looking up stuff about specifically where the story could go. What I think about, the way they're expanding the galaxy. I think that's really great. So many things about specifically The Force Awakens having come out. I've talked about that movie so much. I saw it 10 times in the theater. And it's really interesting. I wanted to start this with how I felt about the movie, like my first reaction up until the 10th time I've seen it, and how my opinion has changed over time. But ultimately, again, I feel like as though I'm rambling already a lot. These introductions are always so very strange. I'm trying to find a rhythm. I'm trying to discover what might be a good idea. I'm trying to figure out what I want to talk about and how I structure this whole thing. But ultimately, I think how this is going to work is I'm going to sit here and I am going to talk about Star Wars things. And specifically, I would probably go on to other pop culture things. But also, I think another thing that kind of spurred me to do this is I've been watching a lot of, and I'm going to throw it out there right now, a lot of Collider Movie Talk, and specifically Jedi Council. If you have not heard of it and you're a Star Wars fan, check it out. These guys are great. They have awesome industry insight. You could tell they know what's going on in the world, in the film industry, but specifically they're all Star Wars nerds. And again, it's called Jedi Council. It's from Collider Movie News. Look it up. They're awesome. Every time I watch that, I pause it at a specific moment and I go blah, 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 and I'm talking about all this stuff, and I wish I was there on the panel with them, talking and understanding and knowing and giving my ideas, and I'm like, yeah, I agree, and all this stuff. So that's what really kind of prompted me to do this. Again, this is absolutely terrifying because I kind of, I hate watching myself flapping my gums a lot. Right now, I think it's about 9:30 p.m., and I was putting off doing this for a very long time because I didn't know how to start, I didn't know what to say, and also I feel like there's so many video blogs these days. Everybody, it's a dime a dozen. You can just prop up whatever and record into your FaceTime camera, which is what I'm doing right now. And people can make things, they have high production value, make it look fancy, but you know what? I just got tired of coming home and saying all this stuff to myself in my room. And I know that's going to sound really, really kind of sad, but it's the truth. I was tired of just saying this all out to the wind, and I wanted to just get it out there. And even though I'm sure people will either agree with me or already said it, I don't care. I wanted to just, more than anything, catalog it for myself. So with that, that's my, I guess, kind of introduction, awkwardly. Yeah, I think that's about it for now. I'm gonna try and figure out how where I go from here. Specifically, I think I know what I wanted to talk about the next time, but It's gonna feel very strange. My enthusiasm doesn't always, shine through. Typically, what it does, if somebody's just talking to me casually, it does. But this is gonna be hard because I know ultimately what people going to Well, I shouldn't flatter myself. I don't know how many people actually look at this, but just the idea of anybody kind of publicly looking at this. But then again, many people may not find their way towards it, so I might be fine. May not be embarrassing myself so much. Um, but yeah, I think that's my start for now. Good night, kids.